If you have a continuing connection to the property or to the community, you are certainly going to care about its continued use. You, as the current leadership of the community, you know what you're dealing with on the ground right now, but you don't know what future generations in that community might be dealing with then. You know, there are good and bad versions of commercial property. In addition to that, there's just what makes sense where. That is sort of the reason that we have zoning at all. Louisville Metro, we have a land development code. The land development code assigns a zoning district to each property. Based on the zoning district that's on a given piece of land, there's a list of permitted uses. Even though zoning provides some restrictions or some kind of shape to how a property can be used, it is amendable by the community. It's amendable by our elected leaders. And so a deed restriction adds another layer of protection. And it's not a matter of, well, I comply with zoning, so I don't need to worry about deed restrictions. You have to consider both. And the deed restriction, the difference between zoning and that is a deed restriction is enforced by a private party. Zoning is enforced by the public. You gain some certainty as part of the neighborhood. You say prospectively to somebody buying, and so they can't say, well, I didn't know about that. And you gain the ability to enforce something even when another body might decide that they don't want to. It would give people a very clear understanding of what is intended, what we want to see happening or not happening. They understand that they're going to have an ongoing kind of obligation not to use the property in that way. Restricting a property too much without enough forethought is where you run into problems. You know, do you think it's going to affect the market value? And depending on the restriction, it may or it may not. Do you really want to be in the business of enforcement? You're kind of putting yourself into that position. Consider very carefully the language that would go into any restrictions so that you don't end up foreclosing what could be beneficial uses while you're trying to eliminate things that would certainly be detrimental.